Good morning to everyone. I am Dr.A.P.Gowsalya Devi, Assistant Professor of Botany, the Standard 5X Rajaratnam College for Women. Now we are going to deal with the topic orchid planning and layout. So we all know about horticulture. What do you mean by horticulture? So it is the growing of plants and everywhere there. Okay, and in this orchid cultivation, it is the cultivation of fruits. So cultivation of fruit trees, it is a very long term investment, because once if you grow a tree, it will be go on growing for the next generation itself, you can get economically benefited. So it is a long term investment and it needs a lot of planning and expertise, because once the tree has been grown in one place, you cannot shift it to another place. So before going for an orchid cultivation, you should first plan about whether the soil condition is suitable for that, and whether that area is having sufficient amount of water facility and irrigation facility you have to made, and the transport facility and everything. So that is what utmost attention and care is to be given to various aspects, like selection of location and site. That is the location and site, it should be have the thing. And the nature of the soil and subsoil, that is the soil should be of a fertile nature, which should be suitable for the growing of all type of fruit plants. And the next one, it is the planning of suitable kind and variety of fruits. So which fruits can be suitable for that area, that also you have to take into consideration. And proper planting distance. That is, you have to keep equal distance for the fruit trees to be planted first itself, and purchasing of plants from reliable source. That is, the plant should have the best quality or yield, the genetically it should be of good variety, that is more important. And the official components like roads, because the road it has been essential for the transportation of the cultivated fruits. Then orchid structure like office, the office should be at the center of the orchid, that is to maintain all the area. Then the implements, shed, godown and storage, pumping houses, it has to be placed in the proper places, and then only it will be easy for you to manage. Then the fencing and windbreak, the fencing should be maybe of a green fencing. In the green fencing, you can use the plants like Asadiracta and Polyalthea. And irrigation, the irrigation should be of surface irrigation, or you may go for some sprinkler irrigation. And spacing and planting materials also you should take it into more consideration. And while taking into consideration of the plants, planting the trees, the smaller trees should be at the front, and larger trees should be planted at the back, and green trees should be at the front, and deciduous trees should be planted at the back. Like that we have to plan it. Okay. Now we can see the laying out of orchids. So there are so many methods we can laying out of orchids. That is what is the main purpose of laying out of orchid is, you can grow maximum number of fruit trees in a comfortable area, and you can earn more economically, that is. So that is providing maximum number of trees per hectare, and adequate space for the proper development of the trees, and ensuring convenience in orchid culture practices. That is, it should be convenient for you to go for irrigation and for cultivation or manuring for whatever the purpose. So mainly it has been categorized into two categories, that is the vertical row planting system and alternate row planting system. Okay. In the vertical row planting system, the first one, it is the square system. In the picture itself you can easily know. So it is the most commonly used method and easy to lay out in the field. It is the plant to plant and row to row distance in the same. You can see the row to row distance are the same, and plants are at the right angle to each other, and every unit of 4 plants forming a square, and you have adequate space for intercultivation, that also you can grow. So it is the simplest method and most convenient method for you. The next, it is the rectangular system. Of course, here the plant is divided into rectangle instead of squares, and the rows are placed in the plants are placed in the 4 corners of the rectangle, and you can see there the 2 rows running at the right angle like a square system. This system also facilitates to interculture. You can easily go for interculture, but it is difficult for you to plant can be unwanted. If you want to go for remove it, it will be different, and keep on the distance between the 2 rows and the 2 columns will be differ here. Okay. The next one, it is the next vertical system. It is the layout of planning by the alternate another method. It is the quinquenous or filler system or diagonal system. You can see it is the modification of the square system of the layout. You can see here in the square you can see the empty space in the center of the each space by planting another plant, that is called the filler tree. So, the filler tree will be precious and of shorter duration and not be of the same kind, like that you have to plan and plant it. So, it is a modification of a square system, you can tell, because of all the 4 corners of the square, in the center also, instead of intercropping system, you can go for a filler tree method, but that should be of a different plant. Okay. The next is the hexagonal system or equilateral triangle or septule system. In the system, the trees are planted in each corner of the equilateral triangle. You can see in the each corner how it has been placed, and you can see the equilateral triangle. So, there are 6 corners you can place, and in the center also you can place, that is the 7th tree is placed in the center of the hexagon, and then it is called as the septule system. So, here the distance between the rows is less than the distance between the trees in a row, but the distance from tree to tree in the 6 directions remains the same. Here also of course, it is somewhat complicated for you to maintain. Then it is the next system called the triangular system. Here the trees are planted in a square system, but the difference that those in the even numbered rows are midway between those in the odd rows instead of opposite to them. In the square, in the first row where the tree, it is opposite, in the second row it will be there, but here you can see it is the midway. So, you can get enough amount of sunlight, the fruit trees can get, and there won't be any shadow you can get be in the underground, in the soil, subsurface soil area. The triangular system is based on the principle of isolateral triangle. So, the distance between any 2 adjacent tree in a row is equal to the perpendicular distance between 2 adjacent one. You can see this one and this one. And the next system, it is the planning system, layout of system of planting the contour. So, here it is generally followed in the hill region where the plants are planted along the contour, that is across the slope. Undulated topography, that is the slope exceeds 10%. The main advantage it is to reduce the soil erosion and conserve the soil moisture. You can see here, so normally when it is rain heavily in the slopy region, along with the rainwater it will carry on all the soil, the debris and everything down. So, there will occur the landslides. So, when you go for the contour system of planting, you can avoid the soil erosion, and you can also even when you so much of amount that it can use the water which has been available, and the soil there also it will be very much fertile for the cultivation. And the last one, the other systems. Here these are the single edge system and the double edge system. It is a terrace system, it is an extension of contour system of course. The double edge system, the planting system, it will accommodate 22% of higher plants than the single hedge or planting. The hedge or planting system are commercially followed and it will be mechanically useful for the fruit cultivation. Mainly it has been used in apple and pineapple, and mostly for all the orchids you can grow for the fruit trees, apple, pineapple, mango, banana, sapota, guava and all these things. Okay. And the planting of horticulture club, the minimum vertical distance between any true tree is called the planting distance. The 2 principles you have to follow deciding the planting distance. That is, trees when fully grown, the trunks of the trees should not touch each other, but the branches should not interlock. That is, the root of the tree spread over large area than the top of the trees. So, there should be enough space for row to feed without competition. That is, when you go for the canopy, the canopy of the one tree shouldn't touch the canopy of the other tree. So, it shouldn't be there, and the root also, any of the fruit trees, the root will go spread to a long distance. So, you should provide proper space for the plant the roots to grow. Okay. So, here you can see some of the types, that is the low density. That is, in the first picture you can see the plants are planted with a very long distance. The second one, it is the medium density, that is still it has been in a shorter distance between the trees. The third one, it is the high density, and the fourth one, it is the meadow, that is it has been in a bulk or complicated manner. And the kind of fruit tree, that what I told, in the mango it should be of 10 into 10 meter, guava it is of 5 to 5 meter, whereas papaya are planted at 2 to 2 meter spacing. In low rainfall areas, wider spacing should be provided than high rainfall area. And soil type, in heavy soil, less spacing should be given because the top and root growth are limited. Thank you.